Hey, Five fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and I'm joined now with the one and only Luke Campbell. Luke, it's good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Through the screen. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm doing well. I unfortunately wasn't able to be at your last fight. It sort of coincided with the holidays. How do you manage to sort of, I guess, block out the fact that it's such a massive holiday and stay focused? A lot of times it can make people feel really sad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I probably did feel sad at, it was the first Christmas and New Year away from my family, away from my kids, and you know, it was quite stressful knowing that I was away from them, and that I want there to celebrate some good times.
Yeah. Well, I'm really interested for you to tell me more about what's going on right now. So let me make this clear, okay? Because I have the information in front of me. I want to read it because I don't want to butcher it.
Right.
So you are going to be returning to the ring, competing in a new 18-round boxing contest on Monday, May the 10th, as part of a new partnership with Calm, which is the Campaign Against Living Miserably. Now, explain 18 rounds. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, so basically, I sat down with my PR team, and we're doing quite a bit on mental health and things like that, and the COVID and things like that. Suicide rate has really gone up. And you're getting young people taking their own lives, and it's so sad and sickening to know that a 16-year-old girl, a 17-year-old boy that took their own life. Because we're potentially just because of the way the world is right now and social medias and things like that. So they say on average it's about 18 people a day that that do it. So we're trying to raise awareness and do a campaign and raise some money for Calm that can hopefully prevent this and and stop people from doing what they're doing. So that's what it's all about. We've got some big names that would love to get involved and that are getting involved in it. And it should be a real cool event. And like I say, it's all for trying to help other people that are struggling through mental health. That's basically what it's for.
So when you say it's an 18-round boxing contest, explain that to me.
Right. So it's basically I've got 18 people that are involved in it, and I'm doing 1 round each with them.
In one day?
In one session.
Wow.
I just go around to my PR team and think like 18 rounds. I have to do a 10-week training camp for a 12-round fight. So now you're giving me 18 rounds. So most of it, due to COVID, unfortunately, will be like online. So it'll be like the likes of me talking to you now, and we can compete against each other through Instagram Live or YouTube or something like that. So and maybe the odd person that comes down to the gym might jump in and do a round of sparring with me.
And obviously, this is sort of symbolic to the fact that people are constantly going through these mental battles, like day in and day out. It's supposed to sort of represent like the relation to what people are dealing with mentally.
Yeah, it's to represent the people that have sadly, taken their own life due to mental health issues. It's for them, and it's also for the future people that are struggling with mental health. Moving forward, like I say, it's a campaign to raise awareness, donate some money, and try and put things in place that can really help people that are struggling.
So explain to me how Calm will use the money and help others. Like, what's their process in reaching out and helping people with mental health?
I think it's just being able to put I actually don't know what I guess what programs they can do with that. I'm just the person in the middle that feels passionate about raising awareness for it, because there's been a couple of people near where I live, taking their own lives, young girl, young boy, and even more so that have took their own life, and it really got to me that I guess the way the people are thinking right now in the world, that feeling that bad to be able to do that. So I leave that what you just said there. I leave that to the experts to come up with ideas to create things that could help people. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to do is just raise awareness and make sure that people understand it. This is really serious thing, and I want to try and help people and stop it.
Mm-hmm. Is there a time where you found yourself in a situation, not necessarily suicidal, but battling your own mental health?
Listen, I think we all have our down days. We just got to make sure our good days last longer than our bad days. And for me, I'm very fortunate to have a great family and a very supporting wife that in my down days picks me up. Mm-hmm. And I'm there for her in her down days. We all have down days. Sometimes is no reason for having a down day. Like, I feel really down in myself, but I don't actually know why. We all have them. So, but I've never been in the state in like I've never got that bad to where I feel like I'm I want to take my own life. Mm-hmm. I'm fortunate enough for that, because a lot of people do get to that. So,
but I think one of the things that people misunderstand is when people say mental health, it doesn't necessarily mean you want to kill yourself. Mental health means that you're just depressed and you don't know how to get out of it. You don't know why you feel the way that you do, but you do. You could even just be a really negative thinker. Everything goes to the negative and not the positive. And so I think there's a big misunderstanding when it comes to that. Because I know a lot of people who don't necessarily want to die, but they don't know how to get out of this funk, this heaviness. I would kind of describe it as. I think we've all been there. We all have had moments of heaviness, right? So it's so important that people understand that to deal with mental health doesn't always mean suicide.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes feel like mental health is thrown about too easy and too frequently, where just because you're down one day doesn't mean you've got mental health problems. Like you say, you talk about negative thoughts and positive thoughts. Well, if negative thoughts can make you poorly, what's the power of positive thoughts? And it's just as simple as that. I have a down day. It don't mean I'm suffering from mental health. It's just life. You, naturally, human beings think negative. It's just, that's natural, but it's just enlightened some people that it's okay to think negative. It don't mean that that you're unwell or you're in a bad place, because we can just start flooding yourself with positivity. But yeah, I mean, this whole thing is literally just to shine some light on it and just try and do some good.
Well, good for you for using your name for a good cause and bringing awareness to it, because there is a lot of that going on. And unfortunately, we are always reading about headlines where not just adults, but children are taking their lives right now. They're starting to feel like there's no way out of whatever's happening. And it's just, there's a lot of anxiety going about at the moment.
Yeah, most definitely. I did a recent interview with a guy called James English, and we spoke briefly about mental health and the things what I was saying about mental health. There was a lot of people commenting saying that, wow, you've really helped me today, and you've helped me focus my thinking on something else, and it's helped them feel better or get through it. And that's actually really rewarding, knowing I've helped someone in their day-to-day feel a little bit more positive or think a little bit differently.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the most important thing in what you're doing and anyone else who speaks out is sort of telling people it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to say that this is what I'm battling with, because a lot of times it comes with an element of shame. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to burden someone with it. You don't want people to think that you're out for attention. I think that's the worst thing, because you see how people pass away. I'm going to use Carolyn Flack as an example. She passes away, and I think a lot of people never saw it coming. I think it's safe to say that her suicide was pretty abrupt. And a lot of people who knew her also said they didn't see it coming. And I think that's because we've come to a point in social media where you say something and people go, oh, you're just looking for sympathy, rather than taking it for what it is. Like, if someone's saying it, maybe you should believe it. Maybe you shouldn't be second guessing it all the time. And I think if we had a more understanding environment and people were to reach out to each other more and offer help. I know that there was this guy who reached out to me and he said, I'm thinking of committing suicide, and he tweeted me. And I didn't see it, but my friend saw it. And she's like, did you see his tweet? And I have no idea. I was like, what are you talking about? And I went and I checked it out, and I immediately DM'd him. Like, I followed him and I DM'd him, and I was like, hey, I couldn't have that on my butt, thinking like, oh, it was someone chatting shit. But at the end of the day, like, it's our responsibility as human beings to reach out to somebody when it seems like they need our help.
Yeah, and that's the power of social media. You know, it can be a good thing, like that, where you can actually reach out and help someone.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, social media can cause a lot of the problems of mental health,
Mm-hmm.
because they're constantly looking at other people's life and thinking, I want this, I want that, what they don't have, or they look like they're having fun. Why wasn't I invited to that? So, you know, I do believe that social media probably causes a lot of mental health problems. That's my personal opinion, but also it can be used for the good as well. So
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna catch 22 there.
I don't remember what the famous saying is, but it's something along the lines of like, you can't have like all this good stuff and not have the opposite, which is bad. So it comes with the territory where there's good, there's going to be bad. So you just sort of have to weed it out and sort of, again, focus on what matters. If you focus on the negative, you're going to get more negative. If you focus on the positives, you're going to see the positives. So just really,
you know, it's funny because sometimes you'll have it yourself. Like, if someone's commented on one of my posts or commented to me something negative, it's like, wow, like I look at them thinking, I feel sorry for that person to have to comment on somebody else's life, something negative. Like, what are they mentally, what are they going through mentally, that they have to feel good in themselves to comment something negative on your profile or my profile. Myself, I've never ever commented on anyone else's life or profile or anything negative. So I'm thinking, wow, it really reflects on them when they post something bad about somebody else. Like, I feel sorry for them. Like, I don't look at that tweet getting angry that this person's calling me names or this person's being real negative towards me. I actually feel sorry for them that they might take a little bit of pleasure in making someone else try and feel down if it makes them feel better. Like, I feel sorry for that person.
I think another thing too is one thing that I've learned is sometimes people just want to bait you. They want to say something negative to try to get a response from you. And then when you respond, they're like, oh, I just wanted a response from you. And it's just sort of like, wow, okay. But that's why I now, if I'm going to clap back, I like to clap back every now and then. But for the most part, I like to comment on people who have actually said something nice as opposed to negative. That way I make it clear I'm not responding to negative. I'm going to respond to the positives.
Yeah.
So it's something you learn over time, obviously. Wasn't always that way.
It's much harder to not comment on a negative comment. You know, that someone's left you a negative comment. It's actually really hard not to comment back. But if you can just focus on the good comments that you've received and write them back, it's harder, but I think it's definitely, you're showing yourself that you respond to positivity and not negativity, and not let someone affect you mentally. Someone that you don't know, that you've never met, that they've never given you any bit of advice, or you'd never call or have a cup of tea with. Why all of a sudden would you be interested in that person's negative thought to you?
I think Michael Jordan said it best. Didn't he say something along the lines of, you'll never see successful people writing negative things to each other? Something like that. I know that was... Huh?
Very wise man.
Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said something like that, where you'll never catch a successful person commenting on another person's profile something negative. Like, in other words, like when someone's
I've never seen it.
No?
I don't think I've ever seen a successful person commenting something negative on someone else's profile.
Mm-hmm. I mean, unless they hate each other and they're chatting shit, but for the most part.
I was just about to say that. Unless it's, they actually do not like each other, but they know each other, but it's not two completely different strangers that are reaching out from, just leaving a comment for nothing.
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah.
You're not going to see that. And if you do, then something's wrong with that person for the most part.
They're focused on their own life and the things that they're doing instead of focusing on what other people's doing.
Exactly. I know, and I always try to leave positive comments. I mean, if you even catch me on anyone's page, it's always like hearts or thumbs up or clapping or something.
Great, well done. Keep it up.
Yeah, thank you. One of the things I definitely want to talk to you about is when we can expect you back in the ring in a professional fight. I don't know where any of this, maybe you can tell me, but I don't know where any of this retirement talk came from. It suddenly seemed to appear, and you were always sort of slamming down, like, I'm not retiring. Like, where did that come from? Like, I don't know why people were even talking about that.
I honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I have not actually no idea. I've not decided anything. It's not really coming to my mind yet, to be honest with you. From the last fight, I've just been relaxing with my family, and I've got a few things outside of boxing, what I'm working on, what I'm growing. But yeah, I mean, we could potentially looking at summer for the next outing. I've had a little chat with Eddie, and that's about it. But I've never commented in any interview or anything saying that I'm thinking about retirement.
Yeah, because when I was reading about that, I was like, well, where did this come from? Because it's not like you might have said, I may consider this if this happens. It sort of just was being written about, and I was like, did I miss something? I thought maybe I missed something.
I thought the exact same thing. I'm thinking, did I actually say something to somebody? That's obviously, then someone's took it and ran with it. I've not actually mentioned it in any interview to no one about I'm thinking of retirement.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is a bit of time out with my family.
Yeah, exactly. You're entitled to that. So what do you want next? Like, we know that you said summer. Is there anyone in particular that you are sort of eyeing at the moment?
No one in particular, to be honest with you. I think lightweight for me is probably done now. I felt like I did struggle to make the weight in the last time I was out, so I probably finished with lightweight, and moving forward probably be 140.
Well, Luke, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, and like I said, hopefully we'll be able to catch up with you. Pending the announcement of your return. Say it again.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have a time frame? Like, do you want to say, like, by a certain point you want to be back in the ring?
No, I haven't really got a time frame, to be honest with you, at the minute. Yeah, I guess that's another chat I need to have.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else